everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Super. Welcome back. This is your 6th Walker Season 4 episode review. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world. It is officially time, ladies and gentlemen. It is yet another New York pre-summer heat, which means the windows are open. I'm wearing shorts. Even though, literally, every time I do a review, it's literally, chest, face, sometimes a hat, sometimes a mask, depending on the review we're doing. So I'm just letting you know that it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Good news on the record is that apparently Walker will be going on a straight run throughout the entire season. So there will be no breaks, no stops, no gap overs. We are literally going for an entire week-to-week basis on, the Walker front, which I'm very, very happy about. But I'm just letting you guys know, in about a month from now, or if not 3 weeks from now, I will not be releasing an episode review live, or at least live adjacent, where I've already said that we were not going to be able to produce these live because something wrong with my network programming, and I'm just not in the ability right now to fix it. So I'm watching them free the next day on the CW app and being posted the next day afterward. Well, I think it's episode 11. It's definitely not the finale. It's either 10 or 11. But that episode, I will not be able to review that. I will be out of states. I will be on a very much needed vacation. So I do apologize that I will be away for that day. But I will return the following week with 2 Walker reviews. So don't worry about that. We will be back on the money. Just, I need a break. It's been a very, very complicated few, almost a year, since we've been out. A lot has happened. And, so enough of my personal life, get to it. But yeah, so I'm happy that, Walker is going to proceed forward with a straight run to season 4 at the very end. So it will wrap at the very end of June. And then so we will be wrapped up with our coverage by mid-July. So we're pretty good for now. We still got a couple more months of Walker. So no need to fret. We're not even halfway done with the season. We're next week will be the halfway mark for season 4, but most likely we will. We still got a long way to go, and I don't even want to think about July yet, because by July, a lot of things would be done already, as well as I have to be planning the rest of the summer out. So I don't even want to think about that right now. But what I want to do think about is this week's episode of Walker, which honestly, I think this might be my favorite one since the premiere. I think it took a little bit of slow going, and this is one of those episodes where, we kind of got to see those crucial moments, the very pinnacle moments we need to see for a story to continue onwards. That's the importance of serialized television, especially with one with a very strict story arc. There's got to be points, there's got to be beats, there's got to be moments that don't feel dragged out, but they also feel like they're not coming too early. So I think this episode perfectly had, we had those moments, the mystery's still going on. We're still delving through things, but we hit a couple of those crucial moments where it kind of felt too much of everything's going right on a very much of a different surface. Mind you, still very much a lot of stuff that's going wrong here, but I definitely do believe that the tide is finally starting to even out for everyone on the Walker family. But I just want to get into it because this was a really well done episode. I think there were 2 pinnacle moments at the very end, which I was like, this was the culmination of these past 6 episodes already. So I can't wait till what the next 8 episodes are going to lead us when we get to those points. So with all that being said, let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Walker. So we begin with a flashback. It is now, I want to say 3-4 years ago, where we're at a museum, and it's a very a museum event, so it's kind of like a party, but it's not really a party, where they're getting in some new art pieces, some new decorative stuff coming in for the museum. And one of those things, it's a very particular necklace, which I think it's been mostly kind of confirmed. Yes, this is Abby Walker from Independence's necklace. Now again, there was just so much we didn't get to see. Obviously this is labeled as a Rollins necklace. So again, there's either Abby gave away the necklace to either that Hoyt's future wife or daughter, or some semblance of the family tree. But regardless of how it is, this is the same necklace from Independence, which again, I found that to be cool that, even though we really can't get much of that Independence story arc to finish up on Walker, because it would just be really weird how they would format it. But I do at least appreciate that, hey, no, that show is canon. It is part of our continuity. And, that we're honoring that despite it no longer being on the air. Uh, and guess which and what our favorite bandit decides to pop in to try and steal it for some cash. Yeah, that's right. It's good old hold Rollins back at it. I don't quite think Hoyt was there during season 3 because I'm pretty sure they were busy up filming Independence in another state. So, which is weird. Normal. I don't know why. There was something in my brain thinking that Independence was shooting in Vancouver for some reason, but no, it was shot in one of the other Midwest states so that they don't get too confused over at Walkerland. So he successfully steals the necklace. Use your Hoyt Flair. His getaway driver prepares to take him away up to the sunset. It's some random dude we never met before. That I'm pretty sure we just got a name drop in a previous season. Now we finally have a face to the name. And yeah, he's the one who had Emily's car before Hoyt got it back, before Walker as a show proper in present day storyline began. So then we cut over back to present day, where once again Stella and August are trying to figure out how do they get involved with this guy. They haven't seen no one from Cordell or Jerry has seen this man in many years, so it's not going to be much easy to just text him and just pitch something. It's not going to be that easy. But of course, this is their only lead they have. They need to find the necklace. They need to be able to protect Sadie and Wilt, as well as, right now August is not targeted, but if whoever this person is watching them, then they're probably aware of August being involved in this, so they're going to try and get this solved almost ASAP so that, no one else has to get hurt. We cut back downstairs where Jerry and Cordell are making some breakfast for the kids. It's apparently been some time since the last episode. There's been a time jump. We skipped the holidays. We skipped everything. Stella's back home from college. She's about to go back for her second semester. And, actually, I don't know how that works, considering the fact so second semester. And August is going straight into his final semester, the final stretch into high school, which again we've just completely skipped over that. It's funny. It's they're really being budgeted. We can't even afford the high school this season. It's okay, enough jokes. I'm done. I'll save the jokes for later. They're trying to have some family time. Family time, and they're trying to plan out a day. Even Cordell's listing off we didn't get to do movies this winter break. We didn't get to spend any real dinners together. Nothing really of substance has come up since this winter break. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Stella and August perfectly understand that. It's just that they need to be focused on this necklace thing, and they don't want to alert Cordell if it is nothing. And besides, he's busy with the Jackal situation, so they don't want to complicate it. If they can figure it out themselves, then they can. But Cordell still very much just wants to start to kind of reel his kids back in. It's been too much time. It's worked out in the favor of the storyline and just easing up production of not having to schedule so many of the main actors with each other. Having them each do their own thing. Which, sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. And they're about to pitch okay, let's at least do this today. And, sadly, Stella and August need to follow up on a lead to get this guy, get in contact with the dude that possibly has the necklace, and they have to, ditch them, but they do promise they will be back for dinner at 6. And it's yep, I really know this is going to go terribly wrong. I already know it from a T standpoint. Back over at Ranger HQ, both Trey and Cassie are setting up the meeting room for a little meeting. Apparently, they're holding a little joint powwow with the survivors of the Jackal, because they need a lead. They need something. The trail's gone cold again. There hasn't really been much activity since the last murder and then the incident with the kid. So they're just trying to, uncover some new leads, seeing if anyone's got anything to say. And that's trying to go through. They're also kind of worried that James isn't here. Where the heck is he? Normally he's first one here. As well as the other thing is that apparently there's an official job posting for a lieutenant. So that's up for grabs. It's a little bit expected that they might bring an outsider to take over James's role. To take over as second command for James officially on paper. But Cassie and Trey got other opinions, and they already know Cordell already kind of knocked himself out of the race. He has no interest being a person in command. He just kind of wants to just be the guy on the ground, like, and Cordell's already taken himself off the track because he just has no interest in being someone in command. He just wants to be just on the ground floor, just, you know, doing the investigations. That's all he really wants to do with his life. So kind of Trey and Kelsey kind of want to, like, you know, duke it out for that leadership position. Like, that's kind of what they want to do. James just walks in, immediately hears that. But, you know, James is not really there. He's just like, yeah, like, nah, this man's just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, hangover, taking whatever pills to keep him going right now, that sort of thing. So yeah, so everyone's coming in. They're kind of like getting situated and orderly. August and Stella managed to actually get in contact with the dude, kind of just like poising as Jerry, trying to, like, you know, set up a meeting, trying to, like, you know, get the clique back together again, seeing what they can, like, you know, again, like, this is kind of like, you know, this was like a far reaching thing, but, you know, again, Stella and August trying to be like their dad, trying to, like, kind of do things on their own, which again, it is appreciated, you know, to kind of give them, you know, a little bit more of independence, no pun intended. Meanwhile, Liam is continuing his recovery. You know, apparently, completely forgot to mention he slipped the disc, so he's not paralyzed, but it's going to take a while for him to, like, you know, get back to it. Even his Ben's kind of pseudo moved in to kind of, like, you know, help him out a little bit more so. And Cordell tells them both that he's planning on asking Jerry to move in with them. You know, that to move in officially to the Walker Ranch. You know, considering the fact that, again, you know, this is not your traditional timetable. You know, Cordell and Jerry are long past the age of, like, trying to have their own kids. You know, like, it's kind of similar like when you find someone when you're really, really older and you're about the same wavelength. Like, time doesn't move as the same as, you know, as before, where, like, if you're in your 20s dating, like, you kind of got some leeway, you kind of got some time to really figure that thing out before you make anything official. But Liam does express some concerns of, like, well, is it because you love her, or is it because you really just want to fill the emptiness before, you know, August and Stella go back off, and especially August eventually goes off, you know, goes to do his own thing, you know. And again, Cordell just, there are points to both cases where, like, no, I do generally believe Cordell is ready, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's just the timing of things is just, it's not really right now. But, you know, it is what it is by that point. That, you know, but, you know, Cordell's not really paying much attention to Liam right now. Not to be completely honest with you. Then we cut open to I want to say we get back to the survivors meeting. James is just kind of wrapping up all their recent, you know, findings, the recent work that, like, there's more of a possibility this time it can be solved, but again, you know, like, it's something that they've all heard before a few years ago, that this is not, it's not groundbreaking, and none of them are really pitching new ideas. Apparently just the guy they caught last episode was the only one really being proactive. Everyone else is kind of like just trying to figure things out, you know, trying to move on with life as is. Trey's doing psych profiles, and some of them seeing if, you know, they could be ruled out as potential suspects. Cassie tries to talk to, you know, James about the lieutenant position, and, you know, trying to, like, you know, she's not trying to, like, really guilt him to get the job right away, but she is saying, like, well, you pulled me from Quantico for bigger things, to, like, you know, have a big opportunity to be with the Texas Rangers, and this seems like the opportunity. And James confirmed, yeah, this was the opportunity, but again, I can't show favoritism. I can't just immediately give you the job, and, you know, you doing this is not correct. It's not the thing that is, you know, that you should be doing right now. You should be getting the job based on the work you've performed, not trying to kiss my ass or trying to, like, you know, convince me otherwise. Trey goes meet up with James shortly after, kind of doing the same thing as well. However, sadly, James kind of slips up a little bit and mentions, you know, something that supposedly Cordell and Trey had done in the past, but Trey corrects him, like, no, that was Cordell and Mickey, not me. So I don't know, James. I think your vine's starting to lose it finally. You know, Trey decides to just get out of the room, and just while Trey goes finish up a report, and James just, like, wanders on just what the heck he really said. Stella and August do meet up with the guy. Instantly, it's just like, yeah, we're kind of filling in some holes, but at the same time, it's like, you know, these are just really two foreign beings just meeting each other. They're trying to get him, like, you're trying to, like, you're trying to get through a criminal's mindset of trying to get the information you want. Like, that's not how it really works here, guys. Not really. They're trying, but it's not reaching. He fills in that, like, you know, he and Hoyt did do the operation to get the necklace, but he never saw a chunk of change for that. You know, the necklace was never really, you know, figure out what happened after that. It just kind of, like, slipped away, and, you know, he doesn't disclose much more than that. You know, Stella talks to one of the waitresses about this upcoming museum thing. It's a pop-up thing that has some kind of valuable stuff, so kind of giving this guy some inspiration. The guy hugs Stella weirdly as he's leaving, but in reality, he takes her wallet, which I'm like, dude, that's kind of fucked up, man. But however, this was all part of their plan to get kind of corral him in a situation where like he would have to trust them, and so they can take control of the whole scenario. Then we cut open back to. I'm trying to remember. I know there's a scene between Ben and Liam and Ben about them just talking about just how things are, and Ben realizing that this experience of Liam being bedridden or like kind of very physically not able to do the things he's normally able to do. He's kind of awakening that he wants to be with Liam, like officially, like in a job capacity. Like he wants to quit his job, move into the ranch, and work with his with Liam's mom, and with Grandma Walker, and even Liam at the slowest roll a little bit. Like, okay, hold on, like my parents have actually considered talking about retirement finally. Like, are you sure that's really what you want to do right now? Is that something you want to like really explore? And he's like, yes, like the possibility of you and me running the ranch together, the same thing like Grandma and Grandpa Walker, like why not? And Liam's like, okay, sounds like a great idea, which I'm like, damn, it seems like Liam had the happier moment in this episode, to be honest with you. August and Stella do meet up with the crook and in the museum. However, instead of trying to bust him for revenge, they actually give him an opportunity to get the necklace and run away, only under the condition that he provides them with the information that they required, which he agrees to. They escape. They meet back up in Stella's dorm room, where he tells them, well, I didn't say I knew where the necklace was. I'll tell you what the heck happened next, where yeah, so we did the job. We drove away. Hoyt wanted to make a pit stop. We went by a bar and we met a guy named Duke. Which, yeah, it was Cordell. So this happened during Cordell's, undercover stint being Duke during that time, that story arc. They grabbed a drink, grabbed some food, while Duke and Hoyt got a moment to talk. Apparently, the reason why Duke wanted to see Hoyt was to drop off some letters for his kids that he kind of been using to mentally keep his Cordell self still active while trying to like still embody the Duke personality. But the letters aren't doing it anymore. They're just really like kind of like messing him up, and he needs them to be taken away from him. He tells him that, yeah, no, you're gonna get back to them. Don't worry about it. You're gonna get there. Just hold on a little tighter. That's when Hoyt slips out from the bar with the necklace still in hand. He goes to Emily's gravesite to kind of say hi to her, kind of apologize to her for his recent actions for not being around for Cordell or even Jerry. Jerry just happens to be there that day, and so they get to talking. Hoyt just says the usual thing like, "I'm not staying in town. I gotta get going again," and Jerry's just like, "Always something, always." Never able to commit, like these two have been like ready to go for so long, and they're not there yet. They're still not there yet. Hoyt tries to give the necklace to Jerry, but it doesn't work out, really sadly. It ends up being a dud. Jerry doesn't want to take anything that would be involved into the reasons. So stay to why Hoyt can't stay in town, and Hoyt, like, he really wants to drop it off on her, but like, he can't. So at least at this margin, Hoyt still has the necklace, but he manages to slip out again and like, kind of resume things after they share a kiss. We cut open back to that night where Cordell and Jerry are slowly preparing dinner. Cordell's getting a bit peeved about the whole, situation. Also, I forgot there was a scene between them where Cordell officially asked Jerry to move in with him. She says yes, elatedly, because like, again, like, they love each other. They've known each other for for such a long time that this felt like the most natural step for them to do so. And, Cordell wants everything to be perfect. He wants the ability to not to possibly have someone with him, a new life partner, as well as for his kids to be on board for. That's all he wants, and he just wants everyone to be present for dinner. But it just seems like it's not going to happen by this point. They do get a knock on the door from James. Apparently, James slipped again. He got into another bottle of vodka. Sadly, his son was home from college, and yeah, it was a bad situation. It was like deja vu all over again. And again, James is at fault here. He shouldn't have slipped, which he did. And he sits down with Cordell. He explains like, yes, I am an idiot. Like, I promise them this won't happen again, and it did happen again. Like, it's just this case. Like, this case makes me the wrong person, makes me a very negative version of myself that is depending on drinking, that is, like, making me obsessed that I can't do my duties correctly, can't be a husband, can't be a father. Like, it's and just seeing these kids who lost their parents get taken away from this guy, and I'm the one responsible to bringing this guy down, and my inability to do so time and time again is like, draining. And again, that makes sense, but again, alcohol is never the answer. Trust me, I've seen it plenty of time. It is not the answer. Alcohol is a depressant. It's okay if you're having fun with it, because you're having fun, but like, if you're in a bad mood, if you're in a bad spirit and you're drinking to that, it's gonna make you feel worse. It's not gonna make you feel happy. And trust me, I have experience in this area. So Cordell's like, don't worry, we're gonna get you back to your wife, to your kid. We're gonna figure this out. You did it before, you're gonna do it again. And James is like, no, like, until this case is solved, then I'm never gonna be able to really let go. But at the same time, I can't just keep delaying the solution. So he decides to officially hand Cordell lead on the case. James will not be involved in any of capacity. He will just be their captain. And, it's up to Cordell, Trey, and Cassie to figure this all out, without James's involvement. And Cordell's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll take over. I'll be the new point guard on this. And James is like, okay, that's what's going to be. And honestly, this scene was so well done. I think it's probably the actor's best scene in the entire show. Like, the emotion, like, just the acceptance, but the guilt and the resentment, like, you feel it all during the scene. And I think, this is probably the actor's best moment throughout the entire show so far. So, like, kudos to him. I forgot the actor's name, sadly. I'm not keen up to date with everyone, sadly. But after that's over, James goes to sleep in one of the guest rooms while, finally August and Stella show up, and they got no excuse. They're not ready to talk about things with Cordell, even though they kind of know the Duke connection. And again, like, just the way, like, they're like getting older and they still don't understand of reading the room. They're like, oh, but Dad, we got to ask you something. We need to ask you something right now. I'm like, y'all just realized you skipped out on a dinner. You've been ignoring your family's responsibilities, and you still have the gall to ask your dad, hey, I need something from you right now. Like, no, like you gotta, like, take your whipping. And again, it's confusion on all fronts, where Cordell assumes the reason why August and Stella doesn't want to be there is because they don't want to accept Jerry being kind of like their new mom, or at least Cordell being happy in a new relationship, even if it's with Jerry. And, obviously August Stella still don't want to tell it. It's not related to Jerry, it's because it's just that they're trying to figure out this necklace situation, and it's taking up all their time, but they can't tell Cordell. But, at least the point that they can both agree upon is that Cordell does not like the fact, he's been giving them so much free reign, so much of, you could do things on your own. I will be there when you need me to, but like, but you can do things on your own. Now Cordell's taken back on that. He's like, nope, I have no idea what's going on in you guys' life. I have no idea what the hell's going on. If it's good or bad, I don't know. And I don't like it. So, you guys are going to be staying home, whether you like it or not. You're going to be at least home more often, so I can keep an eye on you. And that's going to be that, and again, the way that conversation went, because again, Stella and August haven't had a moment with Cordell in a minute, that, Cordell hasn't told them about the idea of Jerry moving into their house. Jerry knows, but they don't know. And apparently the dinner was supposed to be the introduction to that. And again, like, it's kind of like, it's just like bad timing. Again, this is why I always say communication is key. A lot of problems can be solved with communication. And the fact that his family still doesn't know that aspect of that is just baffling to me. It really, really is. They go up to their rooms. Cordell storms out. We cut to the next day where Trey still is getting more cut. James comes in a little bit more like his old self. He's admitting that, yeah, he slipped up, but, he's here now. Hopefully this is going back on the right track of, like, him going back to things properly. And that's just the hopefulness out of them. And, Cassie comes as well. And both Cassie and Trey apologize for their rude bashfulness of trying to get that lieutenant position. And James is like, yeah, no, you both put your hats in the ring. Now you two need to fight for it. So that's only fair. May the best ranger win. And, you know, we kind of go off to the races on that point. Back at the Walker Ranch, Jerry's heading off to Oklahoma City to find a proper location for sidestep number 2. So we're not going to see Odell O'Toole for a while, you know. At least she'll probably come back, you know, not to the very end of season 3, but like hopefully a little bit more before the finale. But she does make things clear where, like, with Cordell, that, you know, she does not want to move in anymore. That as much as she would love to move in, she's making it known now that when she moves in, she doesn't want to move out. And she does not want this to be the reason why Cordell asked me to move in, not because his kids are moving out and he's going to have an empty nest, because he wants me there. And as much as Cordell does love her and he does want her to be there, like, again, there's some things that Cordell needs to work out with his kids right now that, again, the time apart may be good for them. You know, obviously this is not like, you know, her like taking a break or anything. It's like she's got to go do business. So this little break between them will probably give the clarity that Cordell needs to, like, you know, figure things out a little bit. So, but they're still together. They just leave things amicably, you know, while she goes off on to OKC, and Cordell stays behind to focus on the Jackal case now. And Cordell decides to take his mind off things as James left his giant notebook filled of everything Jackal related, and, you know, Cordell opens it up, takes the crack, and decides to get digging, see what he can uncover on his end. And that was it for this week's episode of Walker, which, again, I really, really enjoyed. I think this is like my favorite episode of the season. Just seeing James spiraling, seeing his emotional breakdown, the Walker family turmoil with the confusion and everything, you know, everything, and Hoyt's return. God, I miss him so much. I really, really do. Like, you know, again, we had him every week on Independence, but we don't got him anymore. So what can we really do? But no, yeah, I found this to be very, very great. I will most likely anticipate these characters will be splitting up again next week, just because to keep the trail running a little bit. But, you know, I'm very, very excited to where things are going to be progressing on the overall story. I'm really hoping that Cordell doesn't take for another dark path again. I really hope so, because like the way they were framing that last shot was kind of like, I don't feel right about this. I really don't feel right about this whatsoever. But you know what? We'll see how things go. But for the time being, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of Walker. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, as always. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the 4th season of Walker. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Walker episode reviews, we're also doing rookie episode reviews each and every week after brand new episodes on Tuesday nights on ABC. But if you don't care about Walker, you're in luck. We'll be back next week with another brand new episode review. So stay tuned until then. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring that bell and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out. I have a lot.